Hey, everybody. As we are nearing the new year, it's such a great time to revisit our New Year's resolutions from last year. So, how'd it go? What if I told you that there is no such thing as failure? Every step that you've taken this year, yeah, even the setbacks, is progress forward. So, as we wrap up the new year, it's really easy to focus on what we didn't achieve. But today I want to invite you to shift that perspective. In today's Monday Mindset, we're diving into the powerful concept of the gap and the gain and measuring your progress backward, learning to look back at how far we've come and celebrating every step that you've taken, big or small. There is no such thing as not progressing because real progress isn't just about the number on the scale. It's about growth, resilience, and everything you've learned along the way. So let's reflect, reset, and step into the upcoming new year stronger than ever. This is episode number 176, No Such Thing as Failure, The Gap and the Gain. This is the Healthy Real Food Podcast. I'm your coach, Erin Hart, a registered nurse and health coach who understands the struggle of feeling out of control around food and has walked the path of transformation, experiencing the miracle of sustainable weight loss with the sugar and flour-free lifestyle. If you are a woman who feels powerless against your cravings and is ready to live your life with more energy, mental clarity, and purpose, there is hope. Here we believe that with God, a mindset of unstoppability, and consistent execution of a winning strategy, anything is possible for you. So if you're ready to find freedom from food addiction, take control of your health, and pursue your dreams with renewed energy, support, and accountability, let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the Healthy Real Food Podcast. This week, we are diving into a powerful mindset tool that can transform the way that you view your progress, especially at the end of the year. It's called the gap and the gain. So have you ever found yourself discouraged by how far you are from your goals? Maybe you've started the year hoping that by this time you would be a lot farther along in your progress than you are. Well, you're not alone, but today we're shifting the focus from that gap between where we are right now and where it is that we want to be to how far we've come. We're going to look at the gain. So let's take a deep breath together, everybody, because this is a moment to celebrate you and everything that you've accomplished this year. So what exactly is the gap and the gain? I learned this concept from Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy, and it emphasizes the difference between measuring your progress against an ideal, which is the gap, versus measuring it backward from where you started, and that's the gain. When we focus on the gap, we often feel like we're failing. But when we look back at the gain, we can see just how much we've grown. Theodore Roosevelt once said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." So when you constantly compare yourself to an ideal future, you rob yourself of the satisfaction of what you've already accomplished and what you have today. And that's not to say that we don't need vision. We do. That's such an important part of mastering your mindset. But at the same time, don't use your goals against yourself. So let's change that. This is the perfect time of year to pause and reflect on the goals that you set at the beginning of the year. Maybe your goal was to lose 50 pounds and you lost 30 pounds, right? You might feel like, I didn't make it. But hold on a second. Let's rewind here. Where were you when you started? How did you feel then compared to how you feel right now? Consider all of the non-scale victories that you've experienced. Are you waking up with more energy? Have you created some new habits and built healthier routines? Do you feel more in control around food? Are you having less cravings? Each step forward is a part of your gain. And setbacks that you've experienced, they're just part of the gain as well. They are lessons in disguise. So today I want to be really vulnerable with you Last month, as I was reflecting on the goals that I set with my health, my business, my finances, my family at the beginning of the year, for a moment, I felt really discouraged. My three main areas of focus this year was strengthening my family, building my business, and optimizing my health. And the most important goal I succeeded at. I feel so blessed that my family is thriving. We're stronger than we were at the beginning of the year. But I had big goals for my business of serving 1,000 clients, and I fell way short of that. Also, I have experienced some weight creep this year. I gained 10 pounds over the last 12 months. And since my initial 125-pound weight loss 3.5 years ago, I'm up 35 pounds from my lowest weight. So I had lots of emotions with that. But I feel a lot of grace and self-compassion for my past self. Initially, when I lost the weight and transitioned to maintenance, it took me some time to stabilize and to figure out my maintenance plan. I introduced a lot of stress into my life right when I started maintenance by starting a business. And I had a lot of underlying anxiety that I didn't know how to deal with. I didn't have the tools to deal with that led to some setbacks with overeating on compliant food. So I made some mistakes, which led initially to settling 15 to 20 pounds higher than my lowest weight. And if I just looked at the number of clients that I have now or my current weight, and I only used those as my measure of success, I would think I'm a total failure, right? When we focus on the gap and we oversimplify our journey by measuring our success with one data point, it's really easy to feel discouraged and to want to give up. And I felt that for a moment last month. But here is a powerful truth that I believe with all of my heart. Nelson Mandela said, "I never lose. I either win or I learn." So let's take a second to apply this to our weight loss journeys and maintenance journeys. Every setback, every moment you felt like you failed, actually taught you something. I like to think of failure as my friend. I have learned so much over the last 3 years in maintenance. And maybe you can relate to me. Maybe you've fallen short of your goals and your ideals. But let's switch your focus for a moment to the gains. In what ways have you progressed this year? What have you learned? Maybe you've learned what triggers your cravings. Great, write that down. Maybe you've learned the importance of meal prep and writing down your food the night before, how crucial accountability and mindset is to staying on track. Or for me, I learned strategies to help me to keep going forward in maintenance. I've learned and practiced strategies to help me to deal with stress and anxiety. I have learned the importance of surrendering to the quantities of my meal plan and about my body's response in maintenance when I eat too many quantities. Even without sugar and flour in my diet, overeating can lead to weight creep. When we lose weight, our fat cells shrink, but they're still there. We don't lose fat cells, they just get smaller. And nature doesn't like to live in a vacuum, so all of that infrastructure is there. And it's very easy for your body to put the weight back on. So our body wants to fill that void. So I learned through my experience how even seldom overeating on compliant food affects my body. And that to me is a gain. And I don't mean weight gain. I mean that it's progress. It's progress for me this year because now going forward, I can use that to inform my strategy in maintenance. Look for the gains and don't focus on one data point to measure your success. Another reason my weight is higher now is because I've gained a ton of muscle this year. And I have a strong habit of exercise for the first time in my life. And I've learned how to separate my meal plan from exercise. Don't oversimplify your journey by measuring your success with one data point. For me, in a lot of ways, I'm so much healthier than I was at the beginning of the year. I'm healthier emotionally. I've been able to come off of my anxiety medication. I've progressed in my health journey by automating new healthy habits. I've learned about grocery delivery so that I can avoid having to go to Costco. I've climbed mountains this year. Literally, I've climbed mountains. And I'm in my goal body because I feel so good. And I can do all that I want to do, even though the scale is higher than I want it to be. And I still want to bring my weight back down. I'm focusing on the gains, on the way that I've progressed. So I may not have helped 1,000 women in my coaching program yet, but I had 1,000 women sign up for the free challenge. And I've helped dozens of women in my coaching program this year. I've automated habits in my business and I've improved my client experience. It feels so good to see my clients that I do have finding peace with food and achieving their goal bodies and to see their progress over the year. And isn't it worth all of that effort to just help one person? And one day I'll get to that goal of serving 1,000 women, but I'm in the baby stages and I just have to ditch the timeline. I can celebrate that I created a new website. I created an amazing course. I have a really great podcast and created a private podcast to make it easier for my clients to listen to the coaching call replays. So there are so many ways that I've progressed in my business this year, even though I didn't achieve that one data point. Falling so short with my goal also really helps me to recognize the need to adjust my goal and my expectations of myself right now in the stage of life that I'm in, while I have little kids at home without daycare, to a goal that's a little closer, but will still stretch me. My new focus is helping 100 women achieve their goal body. So I'm actually so much stronger and wiser than I was a year ago. Our failures teach us more than having not made them. These are the things that I'm celebrating, and it's really easy to beat ourselves up, but it's just not helpful to do that. When we beat ourselves up, it makes us want to stop. Makes us want to stop taking action and stop trying. So I think it's better to set high expectations of yourself and fall short of them than to not try at all. There's no such thing as failure. There is no such thing as not progressing. It's all forward progress. We are like a bus without brakes. My coach taught me that sometimes we go forward and up, and sometimes we go forward and down, but it's all forward progress. Progress also includes figuring out what doesn't work. These are gains. You're not starting over. You're starting from experience. You're wiser now than you were when you started. And that knowledge can help you to adjust your strategy going forward. Keep that growth mindset and that mindset of unstoppability. Even though this year my weight didn't stay within my maintenance range, I still look at where I started from 4 years ago. I used to be 284 pounds. My highest weight was 306 pounds. And I've lost and maintained a significant amount of weight. I have a sustainable, healthy lifestyle. My labs are within a healthy range. I'm free from diet-related disease. And that's amazing. And I've learned something that I can add to the course that may help others to avoid weight creep and maintenance, right? And I can be better and I can keep progressing. But don't use your goals and ideals against yourself. A critical question to ask yourself when you're looking at just one data point is, what do I want to make this mean? Imagine you had the goal of losing 50 pounds this year, but you lost 30. You could think, man, I blew it. Like, what's the point? Or you could say, wow, I lost 30 pounds. And I've learned so much this year. I've met people that have made my life better. I've stopped eating so much processed foods and sugar. I feel less cravings. I've gained experience staying on plan at restaurants when at the beginning of the year, that felt like such a big obstacle, but it's really easy for me now. I've ditched shame and guilt and am kinder to myself now. I'm not hiding anymore. So how about we ditch that timeline and just keep moving forward. We can still keep moving toward that vision that we want for our lives, but ditch your timeline. Instead, we can think, I've come so far and I'm going to keep going and working towards that ultimate goal. I'll get there if I just keep focusing on the process. Today, I'll be a little bit better than I was yesterday, and tomorrow, I'll be a little bit better than I was today. So let's just go do the next right thing, right? Your thoughts shape your actions. And if you choose to focus on the gap, that can feel really overwhelming and discouraging. That can feel paralyzing and it can make us want to quit. So don't allow doubt to creep in. Stand guard at the door of your mind and instead intentionally choose thoughts that empower you and help you to take action. Remember, even when it feels like you're going backward and experiencing setbacks, you're still moving forward because every experience contributes to your growth and can help you going forward if you take the time for self-reflection and apply what you've learned to your strategy going forward. So here's my challenge for you this week. I invite you to write down 50 gains that you've made this year. Be specific. Last night, I was sitting waiting for my daughters to finish Taekwondo. And I had my computer with me and I wrote down 100. I wrote down 100 gains, extra credit. So it's so fun though to celebrate gains instead of just focusing on how we fell short. Like maybe you stayed sugar and flour free for 3 weeks. Maybe you handled stress without turning to food. Maybe you're more aware of your triggers. Those are all victories. Write those down and celebrate those. As Tony Robbins says, progress equals happiness. Why are we striving for our goal body and our goals? Because we think it will make us happy when we get there. But what I'm telling you is that the joy is in the journey. It's not perfection that brings fulfillment. It's progress. And progress includes learning what doesn't work. Celebrate every win. Measure your progress backward from where you started and don't just use one data point like the scale. Health isn't measured just by your weight, but by how you feel and what you can do. Look at the gains that you've gained mentally, emotionally, spiritually from striving toward your goal body with the sugar and flour-free lifestyle. Be kind to yourself and just keep moving forward. Learn from your mistakes. Practice constant course correction and choose thoughts that empower you to take action today. You've come so far. Don't let the gap overshadow your gains. Reflect this month on those 50 gains, or even better, do 100 gains and celebrate. Celebrate. Let's keep moving forward. Until next time, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening today. If you enjoyed this podcast, you're going to love my coaching program. If you're struggling with your sugar and flour-free lifestyle and want to lose weight for the last time, I can help you. I guarantee that you achieve your goal body within a year, or I will coach you for free until you do. Just imagine living in your goal body and having peace with food. Your success is guaranteed. To learn more about how to get support, guidance, and accountability so you can find peace with food, achieve your goal body this year, and have more energy, visit www.healthyrealfood.com. While you're there, be sure to sign up for the upcoming free challenge to learn the success framework, and click the link to my schedule for a free 30-minute one-to-one coaching call so we can get you started on your success path. You have the power to create the life that you want. This is the year of you. I'm cheering you on. Now go win the day. You got this.